would really like to know where are the Jebusites in this society? Now, you probably say the Jebusites. Well, we don't know who Jebusites are. That's not in our language, but it's in the Bible. And whatever God's put the people to be in Ancestry, and it's in the Bible, that sticks. We don't care what y'all say in your history and change everything, because y'all done changed so much. I doubt very much if y'all really know the changes that y'all made. But anyway, where are the Jebusites? Because God gave a favorable report about the Jebusites. He gave a favorable report about the Jebusites. He didn't get no favorable report about the Amorites. And as we can see, being here in North America, we can see why he didn't give a favorable report about the Amorites or the Girgashites or the Hittites or all them other ites which came from the Canaanites. He didn't give a good report of them. He really didn't. But he gave a good report of where the Jebusites. So what I'm asking is, where are the Jebusites? Because God said he would have y'all could be amongst the holy people. But he ain't said nothing about the Amorites, but because it's a whole bunch of crazy Amorites right now. That's what I'm going to call you. Crazy as hell Amorites. Old crazy Amorites. I put it that way. 70 plus. 1 foot in hell and 1 foot on a banana peel. But where are the Jebusites? Where are the people who are supposed to be just? Where's your voice? Do you have a voice? Or you just falling in line with these Amorites? You're falling right in line with the Amorites. And the Amorites are taking you right to the edge of the precipice of hell, really. That's where they're taking you. They ain't taking you nowhere else, because their vision is not even any further than taking anybody there. That's what they're doing. They're taking you right to the abyss. Right to the abyss. Abyss. Yeah, the abyss. That's where they're taking you. Because they have no compassion. They have no empathy. And that's all that they can do. That's the furthest. Their vision is no further than that. And if y'all can't see that, then you ain't read that whole Bible. You ain't read it. Abraham in the 15th chapter of Genesis saw that. Abraham seen wow. You know, Abraham saw this, okay? He saw it in the 15th chapter of Genesis, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm going to read it to y'all. I'm going to read it to y'all. You hear? I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read it to you. Abraham seen this. I'm going to read this 15th chapter. I'm going to read the whole chapter, really, to let you know and understand what this is all about. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Which was even rephrased in Romans 4th chapter and 18th verse. Hebrews the 11th chapter and the 12th verse. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness, which was also in 21st, what is it? And he counted it for righteousness, which was also in Genesis 21, verse 1, and Romans 4th chapter, 3rd verse, 9th verse, and 22nd verse, and Galatians 3rd verse, and the 6th verse. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? Which was in 1 Samuel 14th chapter and the 9th verse, and the 10th chapter of Luke, 1st chapter and the 18th verse. And he said unto him, Take thee me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. Which is Jeremiah the 34th chapter and 18th verse, and Leviticus the 1st chapter and the 17th verse. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And this is when it really came to it, and this is what we're in right now. We're in this nightmare that Abram seen in the 12th verse of the 15th chapter of Genesis. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. That's right. Which was also revealed in the 2nd chapter of Genesis and the 21st verse. And the 28th chapter of Genesis and the 11th verse. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Exodus, 1st chapter and 11th verse. Acts, 7th chapter and the 6th verse. And also, listen to this. This is for y'all Amorites. This is for y'all Amorites. They shall serve. And then it says here, and also that nation whom they shall serve. God said He's going to judge y'all. Well, I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. So don't be looking forward to these people giving us no great reparations, because it's not in them to do that. We're going to get our reparations from God. These people, everything they give us is a trick attached to it. Exodus 12th chapter, 36th verse. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, but in the 4th generation. Listen to this. But in the 4th generation. See, we can't get away from these Amorites. Can't get away from them. We love them to death. And they can't stand us, our melanated self. But in the 4th generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. 1 Kings 11 and 12. And then over to Matthew, St. Matthew, 23rd chapter and the 32nd verse. Now that's the gospel. That's the gospel. So y'all can read them scriptures if you want to, and you can understand what's really going on. But that's what's going on. Okay? I ain't saying I'm not downplaying the gospel of Jesus Christ at all. Because what he said? He said, whosoever will, let them come. Okay? So whosoever will, let them come to Christ. But let them come to Christ with the truth, not no damn lies.